Hey, how are we doing everyone? Welcome to the Bearded Medic. The University Clinical Aptitude Test. The entrance exam required by most universities in order to study medicine. 2 hours to complete 5 sections of questions, and it can only be done once per application cycle. This video is going to run through what it is, and it will also give you tips about how to go about revising for the exam. Most universities require this exam in order for you to study medicine. Some universities use the UCAT as a means to rank you with other candidates in order to decide whether to invite you for interview. So for example, Birmingham score your decile from 0 to 4. This accounts for 40% of your overall score as a Birmingham candidate. Some universities even use a score or decile to cut you off for interviews, not inviting those that do not meet their threshold. We'll get to how the UCAT is scored later. So ultimately, the UCAT's importance depends on what university you want to apply to. For 2020 entry, the UCAT can be sat at home or at a test centre between the dates of the 3rd of August and 1st of October 2020. But what's in the test? There are 5 sections: verbal reasoning, decision making, quantitative reasoning, abstract reasoning, and the situational judgement. So let's start off with verbal reasoning. There are 44 questions for you to answer in 21 minutes. You'll have a block of text with 4 true, false, can't tell questions per text. Each question being worth 1 mark for a score ranging from 300 to 900 for the whole section. This section aims to test your ability to come to accurate conclusions based on written text. Doctors need this in order to be able to process complicated information and extract the right information from them, communicating it clearly and effectively. The outcomes have to be based on what text is given to you and nothing else, so no knowledge you already have can be used to answer a question. Decision making. There are 31 minutes to answer 29 questions in this section, with the overall score again ranging from 300 to 900. This section tests your ability to solve problems involving complex information in the form of graphs, charts, diagrams or tables to again come to accurate conclusions. And again, doctors need to be able to interpret this kind of information accurately and need good problem solving skills in order to do so. Now for the mathematical section, quantitative reasoning. Here your ability to interpret mathematical data is being tested in the form of 36 questions to complete in 24 minutes. The score you can get again ranges between 300 and 900. Doctors need to be able to interpret statistical information and do simple calculations, for example when doing drug dilutions, or on an academic level where you have to be sound with numbers in order to carry out statistical analysis. You are provided with an on-screen calculator which you will want to get used to beforehand to make sure you've got everything done in that 24 minutes. Now for the shapes, abstract reasoning. 13 minutes to answer 55 questions epitomises the pressurizing nature of the UCAT. Here you will have 4 types of questions. Type 1 questions will involve you being given 2 sets of shapes, A and B. Then you'll be given a shape which you have to decide which set it goes into. Type 2 questions will have you analysing a series of shapes, from which you have to decide which of the 4 options given to you would continue this series. For type 3 questions you have to complete a statement. A relationship between 2 shapes is given, and another shape with a blank is given for you to fill in with one of the 4 options available. Type 4 is similar to type 1 questions, but you're instead asked what shape goes into the set in contrast to you assigning a set to the shape. Again, the score you can get for this section ranges from 300 to 900. So these 4 sections give you a score from 1200 to 3600. This score decides what decile you're in, which is decided by how the whole of your cohort does, and this isn't released until after you've taken your exam. Your total score is divided by 4 to give you an average, so when you hear people say they got 700 in the UCAT, you know their score was 2800. Finally, you have the situational judgement section. This section gives you a realistic scenario, and you have to choose ways to approach and deal with these situations via the options given. Every answer is ranked from best to worst, with the most appropriate answer given the highest score. Depending on how much you score, you will get a band from 1 to 4, 1 being the best. Some universities also have a cut-off for this section, with most stating you need to get a band 3 or above to be considered for interview. So there's your summary of the UCAT. The whole UCAT test isn't negatively marked, so make sure you guess the answers that you don't know so you have answered every single question at the very least. Here's a few tips about how to go about starting revision. Firstly, do some research on your preferred universities to see if they actually need it, as most universities will do, and have a look at how they score the UCAT. Next, book your test. Book for before the start of September, as then you can just concentrate on revising for it, without the added hassle of the other work you may have to do when the academic year starts. Booking in the holiday is also cheaper for a few test sites. If you don't feel prepared, just move the testing date, although you don't want to leave changing the date too late, as the later dates may already be gone. Be sure to also check if you meet the bursary scheme requirements, as you may be able to do the test without payment. Now set a goal. You want to have the motivation to do as well as you can, but make sure you can visualize your preferred score and be realistic. A good target is around 700. This clears the average for most years, and even for UCAT heavy unis, scores over 700 are competitive. Start revising when you feel comfortable. 4 to 5 weeks is usually enough time to prepare. You don't want to start so early that you get burned out or bored of revising, but also not too late that you get really stressed before the date. Start familiarising yourself with the questions by using the free resources available to you, like the UCAT website, which has a wealth of question banks. Start off lightly. Don't time yourself. Just get familiar and start adopting strategies to handle each section and each question type. There are many resources out there that offer techniques to tackle each section. Make use of them to give you the best chance of doing well. As you get closer to your test date, you'll want to step up your revision intensity. Begin to time yourself for each of the sections so you can determine how you handle the time pressure. Get used to the on-screen calculator, again using the UCAT website, and be sure to learn the keyboard shortcuts to make you as time efficient as possible. Do mock tests to see where you need to improve, then go back to practicing each section and tracking your progress. Essentially, you need to keep practicing. It can get tedious and frustrating doing so, as you may not always see improvements, but keep at it. Keep your goal in mind and where you want to be, and continue the grind. Make sure you do other things to relax, as you don't want to be burned out as you edge closer to the exam. And definitely make sure you use all the free resources available to you. If you'd like to see a video guiding you to the best resources out there, make sure you make it known by leaving a like or commenting. So this is the end of the video. If you found this helpful, share and subscribe, and make sure you put in the comments anything else you'd like to see. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.